We've got some more big Nintendo Switch 2 news and information to go over. Apparently, there's going to be another Nintendo Direct very soon. There is a source online that is talking about it. In addition to that, we're going to be discussing what is happening with Metroid Prime 4 because a brand new announcement actually pegs this game being playable at an event coming this month. So 2025 is looking far more likely at this point, and more information soon, of course. Plus, we've got a bunch of other information to go over. So let's go ahead and jump right into it here, starting off with the rumored new Nintendo Direct. Now, we did have a little bit of a lackluster Nintendo Direct partner showcase. That was last week as of the time that I'm recording this video, but there was still some cool games that were in there. For me, Adventures of Elliot, I thought that was pretty cool. Monster Hunter Stories 3 and more. But what about the next thing? Well, apparently, according to YouTuber SwitchForce, Zach over there, a bit of a friend of the show, I've spoke with him every now and then, he is stating that he has information that this upcoming Nintendo Direct is part of a three-pronged attack. You have the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, now you have a separate type of Nintendo Direct, and then you're going to have potentially a bigger show after that. Now, apparently, this Nintendo Direct is not going to have the typical big games that you would see at it. It's a different type, so I am guessing that it's going to be an indie world showcase. Zach did state that there is a game or two that he's very excited about, so maybe that's going to be Silksong or something like that that's going to be at this show, but apparently it's happening this week. Yes, this week for this upcoming Nintendo Direct or Nintendo show. So we'll see if that works out. In his video, which I'll have linked below, he goes over and theorizes about the release lineup when it comes to Metroid Prime 4, Kirby Air Riders, and Splatoon Raiders. So I think it's a pretty interesting video, not too long either. So if you want to check it out, you definitely can. And I personally felt that Nintendo was going to have a pretty solid or big second half of events after the initial Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, because they did that back in April, and then of course June, the big system launch. They just had one partner showcase. I still feel that Nintendo could have, and Zach also theorizes about this too, a 40th anniversary Mario event. There also could be a Nintendo Direct on top of that. Indie World Showcase. There's definitely going to be more indie games coming to the platform. That's something that, in terms of Switch 2 indie games, we don't have a lot. We have a lot of Switch 1 indie games that are launching, but not a lot of Switch 2 indie games. So I'm guessing that indie developers will have had their dev kits down for a bit and can start announcing some of their projects. But once again, he doesn't say Indie Direct, but I'm guessing that that's what it's going to be, the Indie World Showcase. So we'll see about that. Then, of course, potential other events when it comes to another Nintendo Direct or a Mario 40th Anniversary Direct or anything like that. So we'll kind of see how things go. This month with August, we've got Kirby and the Forgotten Land, plus Star Cross World, which I think is going to be really good. And we've got Drag and Drive on the 14th with the demo coming up this weekend. So I think that they're just kind of getting by this month. And then, of course, there'll be something when it comes to a new show or event, even after what Zach is potentially talking about here, where Nintendo details some of the other things. And I think that it's very interesting because we're going to talk about this next discussion with Metroid Prime 4, to where it kind of leads a little bit more credence to potentially what is happening here. But before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. And let me know in the comment section what you're looking forward to most for the end of the year on the Nintendo Switch 2 or any platform. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into this next bit of news, because Nintendo has officially announced that the Fan Expo Canada will have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond playable at the event, which was pretty crazy to see. So Fan Expo Canada attendees will have access to play the latest and upcoming titles on Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo of Canada is inviting you to visit the Fan Expo Canada in Toronto, Ontario, to check out the latest and upcoming games for the Nintendo Switch 2 system. Bring your friends and family to experience games like Mario Kart World and the newly released Donkey Kong Bonanza. Fan Expo attendees will be able to play upcoming games like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, available later in 2025. So I want to make sure that I put that in there because they put that in parentheses. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, available later in 2025. So they've doubled down on this game once again being in 2025, where there was some panic and there was some people making videos and certain things that were going on thinking that some of these games would be delayed out, or Metroid Prime 4 could be delayed out of 2025. That does not seem to be the case now that they are doubling down. And I'm gonna let you guys know what this really reminds me of in the first year of the Nintendo Switch 1 in just a bit, so make sure you stick around for that. Let's just get through this last part. Guests will be able to play Nintendo's partner titles such as Street Fighter 6 Years 1 through 2 Fighters Edition, and upcoming games Hades 2, Borderlands 4, and Elden Ring Tarnished Edition. Attendees will also have an opportunity to receive branded Nintendo Switch 2 merchandise. Anyone checking into their My Nintendo account will be able to receive a mini poster while supplies last, and have the opportunity to receive an exclusive digital background by completing a post-event survey. You can secure tickets by visiting the Fan Expo Canada website, and you can learn more about the Nintendo Switch 2 on the website as well. So I did take a look at that Fan Expo Canada website, and this is going down between August 21st through the 24th this year. So it's going to be in a couple of weeks here where this Fan Expo is happening, and it'll probably have the same demo that they had for Metroid Prime 4 that they had at the Nintendo Treehouse event when it came to the Nintendo Switch 2 content when they did the Direct and all that. I'm guessing that it's going to be very similar to that, with that same boss battle and what the Nintendo Treehouse was playing. But the biggest thing with this, at least, is the fact that we still have it set for this year, that they're going to have it playable for the fans. If they're going to have it playable for the fans, they clearly have, I would say, a set plan on what they're going to be doing for this game. And it's still going to be set for this year because it's going to be playable. And if you're going to put it at a fan event, not even like a journalist event, but a fan event overall, which there still might be a journalist event that we don't know about. They did that with Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then later it came out. So all of this that is going on with it tells me that this game is set for 2025, and they're definitely going to have another Nintendo Direct at some point that details or breaks down what's happening, or they're going to have other events, like let's say a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Direct that goes over it, details things, and kind of just says what's going to happen. So I kind of teased what this whole situation with Metroid Prime 4 reminds me of with the Nintendo Switch 1 back in 2017, and that is definitely Xenoblade Chronicles 2. When that game was first announced, everyone said that there is no way that that game was going to make 2017. It was going to be delayed out. People would talk about how Nintendo has not dated it. They're still saying late 2017. And then all of a sudden it showed up and it had excellent presentations and it ended up doing well. So I think that that kind of reminds me with Metroid Prime 4 a little bit as we get closer and closer, and there's not a release date just yet, but then more things start to pop up saying, oh, okay, it's probably going to be this year, and they're just taking their time to make sure that it's completely polished and ready to go, along with other announcements as well. And that's exactly what happened with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch 1 back in 2017. But I am guessing, because of everything that's been laid out so far, that they will have another Nintendo Direct outside of what Zach was talking about coming up here soon within the next month or two. So what do you guys think about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond being playable at the Fan Expo Canada event? Any of you guys going to be able to go over there and get a chance at playing some of the games? Let me know in the comment section below. But now we are going to move on to another big RPG topic here, and that is Persona 3 Reload. We've got official confirmation of this game selling past 2 million units before you even factor in the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. So here is what the official Atlas West Twitter account had to say, or X account more like it, had to say about the achievement. We're making it out of Tartarus. With this one, Persona 3 Reload has officially sold 2 million units worldwide. Please enjoy this art by talented Shigenori Soejima. Thank you for all your support. And on the art, it says over 2 million copies sold. Thank you for your support. Don't miss P3R on Nintendo Switch 2 with the thumbs up as well. So definitely Pretty cool art overall. Very happy to see that a lot of Atlus's RPGs that they've published have actually been breaking sales records and have been doing very well. Metaphor Refantasio, over 2 million units sold. Persona 3 Reload, over 2 million units sold. Unicorn Overlord, over 1 million units sold. So their RPGs in the last year or so have been doing fantastic. And even SMT5 Vengeance, if you combine that with the original version, that is also sold over 2 million units. So turn-based RPGs, old school RPGs with new infused flair and style are still in and can still sell millions of units, and Atlus is one of the best at the game when it comes down to it. Now let's turn our attention over to Persona 3 Reload on the Nintendo Switch 2. A bit of disappointment with the whole game keycard situation, which is unfortunate for this type of game, but at the same time, I still think that people are going to enjoy the game if they pick it up. Of course, get it any way that you want to get it, whether it's going to be digitally or the game keycard. I think that this is a really cool opportunity overall to play this type of game anywhere that you want without having to deal with the headaches that I dealt with, at least for me, when it comes to having it on Steam Deck or a portable PC or something. Now, don't get me wrong. It works on there. It actually works really well, but transferring it back and forth between my big PC and my Steam Deck when I had one was a nightmare. It kept on switching the rendering settings, so I had to go in there every time whenever I switched it back and forth, specifically on the Steam Deck. So I'm actually looking forward to being able to play Persona 3, having it seamless transfer between portable mode and on the TV, because this game plays really well as a portable type of title. So for me, I'm gonna like playing it that type of way. There's a lot of talking and dialogue, grinding, certain things that you have to do. That just fits really well for me at least, football season, watching the game and having it on the screen to play. So it's coming out this October, so it's gonna be right in the thick of football season for me. So I'll be playing a ton of Persona 3 Reload on my Nintendo Switch 2. So what do you guys think about the game breaking 2 million units sold worldwide before we even have the Nintendo Switch 2 version of it, which I do think that the Switch 2 version of it is going to do fairly well, because I think people have been holding out for the game up until now. And I know I've spoke with a lot of people that have held out till now, so I think it's going to do really well, especially considering the type of system Switch 2 is. So what do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. But now we're going to move on to an update on Monster Hunter Stories 3. The official Monster Hunter Twitter/X account put this up on their page, saying that Monster Hunter Stories 3 features a larger world to explore than previous games in the series, with increased verticality and more riding actions. Journey into a world brimming with monsters just waiting to be discovered. So this was something that we saw in the first trailer for the game at the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase. It was the starter game, which is always meant to kind of grab your attention, and it really grabbed my attention. Like, this was a great starter game overall. This game's, I think, worthy for a Nintendo Direct normal too, but I think they wanted to kind of get it as one of the headlining announcements of this event. But yes, the verticality of being able to ride different monsters up into the air and having some stuff that happens there, kind of taking a little bit of a cue out of the playbook when it comes to The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword or The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. A lot of aerial verticality flight in those games, and they're putting that now in this one. And I know maybe it wasn't 100% intentional, but the main character they have here really looks like Link when it comes to like the champion's tunic that he's wearing and everything, and the hair. But yeah, I don't know if they did that on purpose or if it was just, hey, look, this is just the design that we're doing for the game. But either way, it just reminds me of Link in there. So this is really good when it comes to what they're doing with this game. It's coming out 2026. It's coming out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and the Nintendo Switch 2. So I think it's going to be a blast, and I cannot wait to get into it. The game has had a really weird transformation from small Nintendo 3DS game to Nintendo Switch 1 game and being a lot bigger, now to Nintendo Switch 2 and Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and everything. So that transformation, and of course the Nintendo fans that purchased it to get it up to the point to where Capcom would have the confidence to invest into it like this, that's definitely a good thing. So shout outs to everybody who picked it up over the years. So what do you guys think about Monster Hunter Stories 3 adding some verticality to the gameplay mix here, let me know in the comment section below. But now we're going to move on to the final topic, and that is Splatoon Raiders. Now, I did discuss this, I think, a bit before on a live stream or maybe, but I wanted to go over it just in case, because Zach from SwitchForce talking about the release lineup or what he felt would be for the rest of the year, he feels that Splatoon Raiders is going to be a 2025 release with a very quick turnaround when it comes to showing off the game more and when it releases this year. But apparently a foreign retailer has provided more information on Splatoon Raiders. So they say it's set for a 2025 release. It will focus on adventure and exploration. There'll be more of a story element. There's a brand new quest system, and the mechanic or player, your mechanic, is skilled in mechanical modification. So there'll be upgrades and different type of things that you can do to build up your base, build up your weaponry, and what is going on, which looks to be exactly true based off of what we've seen so far, that initial teaser trailer. Now, they didn't show any combat or any of the in-depth mechanics in terms of how things work, but based off of what we saw in that initial debut trailer and what they're saying here, it definitely seems like it is happening. And I've been on the boat of this is going to be a 2025 game. I've said this multiple times. I think it's still going to be a thing. I think it's going to happen. So I am banking on it being 2025. I think that Nintendo is going to finish out the last half of the year. The flurry of big titles from Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Kirby, Air Riders, Splatoon Raiders, Elden Ring, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Borderlands 4. There's going to be a number of titles. There's going to be a number of great titles. So that's what I think they're going to do to make sure that they have a very strong holiday when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 and sales. So this makes sense to me, but we'll see what happens. And once again, kind of leads potentially to another Nintendo Direct happening when it comes to the big one with the big titles. So what do you guys think overall about all the different stuff that we discussed here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.